The right copy can boost your conversion rates by 83%. And also consider for a moment that the global e-commerce sales are supposed to reach $5 trillion by the end of 2021. And that's crazy, right? And if you run an e-commerce brand, you can actually get a piece of the cake. But I wish it was as easy as just launching a Shopify store, slapping some products on there, because we'd all be rich. But the reality is there's a lot more that goes into e-commerce success. And if you run an online brand, you know this. I've written for plenty of different e-commerce companies. I've ran a few e-commerce businesses of my own, and I think it's one of the best industries that can actually benefit from good copywriting. It can increase your conversions, your sales, your brand loyalty, and your awareness. Imagine if you had hundreds or thousands of products. If you were to increase the conversion rate for each and every one, that can make the difference between hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions. That's why in today's video, I'll be teaching you how to write e-commerce copy that drives conversions and sales. One thing that I think is really cool and effective in e-commerce is when you look at brands like Louis Vuitton, BMW, luxury brands in specific, they tend to nail the idea of exclusivity really well. And this translates to e-commerce brands because everyone likes to feel special and unique. And what those brands do so well is they make their customers feel like they're in a clubhouse and they've reached a certain level to actually acquire that and pay for a product. I think Rolls-Royce did a really good job on their website with this small piece of copy that essentially says that this car and this exact model is made for people who aren't just interested in wealth or being wealthy, but rather they have really fine tastes in life and they only want the best. And by having that copy on the page, it essentially segments the customer and it speaks to a very specific demographic. And it implies that if you aren't this type of person, then the product isn't for you, once again, creating that idea of exclusivity. And then what you can do is actually position a product as only available for a certain type of person. Maybe they have to have specific income, status, or interests. And then once again, it creates that exclusivity. And you can also do this with price. If you sell something for $1,000, $2,000, like these luxury brands do, then you're going to filter out a lot of people and the product actually becomes more desirable because it's harder to get. Secondly is calls to action. Now, a call to action essentially is a word or a phrase that tells the customer what to do next. And these are super effective, even if it might seem obvious that someone should add the product to cart, they should click a certain button or buy the item. But now what you can actually do is strategically use calls to action on different pages and marketing assets to push people to actually convert. Now, one of the best places to actually place calls to action and test them, because you can always find different winning combinations, is the product page itself. For example, you might use a different call to action like add to cart, add to bag. You might find that changing it up and measuring this actually results in more people adding to cart and checking out. I think a really good example is 37 Signals. They tested changing the copy on one of their call to action buttons, and it actually increased their signups by 200%. So that's the power of just changing your copy, even in really small ways. Now, outside of the product page itself, you can also do emails, since email marketing is a huge part of e-commerce, and I'll be talking about that a little bit later on. What you can do is test subject lines. You can have calls to action in the subject line, in the body. You can tell people to click through to purchase a product, check out a different promotion. I also recommend using calls to action all over social media. You're probably on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You might as well be using calls to action on these platforms, telling people to click through, come back to your website, and shop. Thirdly, when you're actually writing copy for the product itself inside of a product description, make sure you really talk about what's in it for the customer. For example, if you're selling clothing, it's going to be made up of certain fabric, have a certain color, certain style, things like that. Simple factual pieces of information that, sure, people have to know, but really why they're buying something is because there's a deeper reason and a deeper benefit. So with the clothing, for example, we could say that it increases their confidence, their self-esteem. It'll be easy to match with other things, so it saves them time and it improves their wardrobe. A cool little trick I like to do when I'm writing copy is to write a bullet or write something about the product, and then I ask myself, so what? And then that allows me to elaborate on it a bit more and really find the key selling point. And that brings me to unique value propositions. So your product might just blend into the market if there's nothing really unique about it. And that's why a UVP, a unique value proposition, is so important. It gives customers a clear reason to buy from you, not your competitors. And you're going to run into two scenarios. One, your product does have something proprietary about it. If it's e-commerce, it'll probably be a certain material, an ingredient, something like that. Literally something that nobody has but you. But in most cases, what will happen is you have a good product, but there isn't actually anything proprietary about it. Now, in this situation, what I want you to do is find something really understated about it. It could be a material, the style, maybe it's how it's made, and the manufacturing process. Take something that all of you and your competitors have, but nobody's talking about, and then bring that to the forefront, talk about that in the copy, and then what ends up happening is you deposition the competition because you all have that same feature or benefit, but you're the one that really focuses on it and you stand out. And I don't know if you know this, but 56% of consumers will actually stop shopping with the brand when they get unexpected costs, and then they'll abandon their cart and leave and probably end up going to a competitor. Now, you can actually completely avoid this by one, making sure you're really upfront with the costs. So when you're setting up your online store and you're writing copy for the cart page and the checkout, make sure that the total is completely available. They should know how much they're paying, the shipping fees, they should know how much taxes they're paying, any kind of discounts, and the amount that's being removed from the total. And if you make that really clear, people are just going to have way less friction and objections, and they'll convert a lot more often. Now, that also brings me to using discount codes. Now, this isn't necessarily a piece of copy you're writing, although when you do promote it in an email, on your website, in a banner or a pop-up, you will need really good copy. But it's actually proven that about 93% of people won't shop online without a discount code. I don't know about you, but the first thing I do when I'm on Amazon, wherever I'm shopping, is I look for some kind of coupon. There's always something to save a little bit of money. And what you can actually do is create that coupon. Maybe it's 5%, 10%, as long as it doesn't cut into margins too much. And then you want to make sure that you're promoting it in the right way. Like I said, social media, email list, make sure you have some kind of pop-up or promotion or banner. So when they're on your website, they can see that and get it. And then what you want to do is have strong call to action, get this coupon, get this discount, and then provide the benefit. Save 5% on your total, save 10%. And something really neat you can actually do to promote people actually buying more and increasing their cart value is make the coupon available or free shipping after a certain order amount. Maybe it's $50, $100, shipping becomes free, or they get a certain discount on that. Now, seeing that 69% of people are actually going to abandon their cart, they're going to add products to their cart and then leave, and you're missing out on tons of sales because of this, you do need a really good abandoned cart recovery system. But it's not just the system that matters. As you could guess, it's going to be the copy that's involved that really brings people back to your website, checking out and buying. Now, if you're on anything from Shopify to WooCommerce, BigCommerce, any kind of major e-commerce platform, it'll probably have abandoned carts built into it. You can enable it and then edit it, or you might just have to install a quick plugin or app. But what this allows you to do essentially is send out emails to people that left without checking out, and they can get them back to the website and converting. Now, there's a couple things I want you to do here. Number one is providing an incentive for the people to actually come back. So this is where the discount code really comes in handy, because you can say, hey, you left the website, you still have all these items in your cart, we want you to come back and check out, here's an extra 10%, and it's going to drastically increase the click-through rate and how many people actually do. Also, make sure to include 1 or 2 calls to action telling them to actually check out, finish their order, and come back to the website. I also love creating a sense of urgency or scarcity. It works really well for abandoned cart emails, and you can actually do this in a couple of different ways. One is that you can tell them that their cart items are going to disappear within a week, 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever it is, and they'll lose those items and have to find them again. You can tell them that a promotion, a discount code, or a coupon won't be available by a certain date, or you can also talk about the low inventory and that how a certain product in their cart might not be available pretty soon. If you do all these things to optimize your e-commerce sales copy, you'll definitely see a nice increase in click-through rate, conversion rates, revenue, and all the important metrics, especially if you're applying them omni-channel from your actual product pages to social and email. If you want to learn more about e-commerce copywriting, make sure to go read my full guide in the description. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next video.